Hi, I'm Ben Wright and I'm filming this podcast as part of my third year high skills module at Bangor University. The aim of this podcast is to cover some of the basic ropework skills used in the Summer Mountain Leader Award. It's aimed at people wanting to take their assessment and who want to recap some of the skills learned in the training. The areas I'm going to cover in this video are a brief talk about group safety, ascending or descending a rock step via three methods: direct belay, belay tied into the anchor, belay tied into the person, and then we shall do a brief summary at the end. Group safety. When setting up the anchors at the top, you need to make sure that the rest of your group is safe out of the way of any falling objects making down. Get them off to one side in a sheltered area so they can all keep warm. And also, if you're practicing these skills outside, try and make sure you're wearing a helmet, just in case anything does go wrong.
The direct belay removes all forces from the belay and places the force completely on the anchor. It is used when some of the group members are feeling less confident and allows you as the leader to belay safely without having to be anchored down. When a suitable anchor has been found, run the rope around it, making sure it isn't on any sharp edges and that it can't be pulled over the top of the anchor. Holding the rope opposite to the one attached to the climber, you can begin to belay them up, using the anchor for friction if they slip. Remember to keep the rope tight so it is less likely to slip off the anchor and allows group members to move safely up the rock step. And remember, always keep hold of the rope.
Attaching to anchors. When the ground becomes a bit steeper and puts more of a risk on you as a leader, you may need to anchor yourself down. This can be done in a variety of ways.
Once you have checked that the anchor is suitable to use and it won't move, you are ready to set up the anchor. Firstly, you need to tie into the end of the rope. I've used a bowline for this, but a rethreaded figure of 8 will also work fine. And also, don't forget the stopper knot. You then need to measure out the rope around the boulder, making sure you have left enough spare rope for the knot. The knot is done by doubling up both strands of the rope and tying a figure of 8 or overhand knot in the rope, making sure that the rope you are attached to pulls tight when you reach your belaying position. You can then adopt the belay stance, remembering to only put the twist in the rope not directly attached to the climber. When belaying, try to wear your rucksack, as this will make it more comfortable for you and help preserve your waterproof jacket. The advantages of this method are that you're tied into the anchor even when you're walking over to the edge of the crag. The disadvantages of this method are that if you have to readjust the knot, you have to walk all the way back to the anchor, and also this method uses up the most amount of rope. As before, check that the anchor is safe to use. Once this is done, you can pay out enough rope to comfortably reach around the anchor, making sure that the rope is secure and not running over any sharp edges. The knot I used here is a double figure of 8, creating a big enough loop to secure around the anchor. You could also use a bowline if tying around a tree or a rock thread. You then need to make a loop for you to attach to. This can be measured out away from the cliff edge to make it safer for you. A double figure of 8 or overhand knot are suitable here. When entering the loop to belay from, try to place it over your head rather than stepping through it, as this could be a trip hazard, especially on a windy day at the top of the cliff. The belay position is adopted in exactly the same way, remembering the twist goes in the rope not directly attached to the climber. The advantages of this method are, it can be readjusted from the belay stance and that it is the most economical with the rope.
In summary, over this podcast we have looked at some of the basic rope skills used in the Summer Mountain Leader Award. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast.